Hey guys, I just got back to Tallahassee for my last semester of college ever, and I'm feeling really sad about it. But today I thought I would just make a video about everything about FSU. I know when I was going to college, I didn't really know anything about college and I was like really confused on everything about it. So I thought as a senior, I would just talk about everything about FSU. And yeah, okay, so I'm gonna start off with recruitment because that's kind of the first thing that happens when you get here if that's what you're interested in. But basically recruitment is the week before school starts, so you're gonna have to move in to your dorm a week early, and there'll be a lot of other people doing that too. But recruitment is the craziest week ever. I don't really know how to explain it. It's very exhausting, tiring, but if it lands you where you're gonna be for the next 4 years, I think it's definitely worth it. But just a little bit about recruitment at Florida State. So there are 17 sorority houses here. So throughout this week, you start with 17 and you end up with 1. And there's different rounds where you start off talking to all 17 houses. That's broken up into 2 days over the course of the first round. Then the second round, you can have a maximum of 12 back. The third round, you can have a max of 7. And then you get down to 2. And then you have 1 that you run home to on bid day. And bid day is the day before school starts, so it's going to be the Sunday. And I really love that because coming here not knowing many people, already having a place to come to the first day of school really made my life a lot better. It was way less nerve-wracking because sorority houses here, we have meals. My sorority does lunch and dinner Monday through Friday and Sunday dinner for chapter. And so Monday I could come to the house and eat lunch at the house my first day of school and already have a place to go to. And the new member process, they make it really welcoming where you have like buddy dates with people older than you every single day or week so that you can meet a lot of people and figure out who your big is. You don't need to join a sorority here. You could definitely still do pretty much everything without being in a sorority. You can go tailgating, you can go anywhere you want. But if you do want to be in a sorority, you get meals, you get trips included, you get date functions. We have date functions once a month and it's all included in our dues. So I think being in a sorority is super fun because you have a house to come to where you'll know people the second you walk in. That's about sorority recruitment. If you have any more questions, I can definitely answer them, but that's kind of the gist of it and my experience in my sorority. So now I want to talk about living situations. So I personally did not want to live in a dorm at all my freshman year. I was so scared because I've lived in the same house my entire life. I'm an only child. I've never shared a room. I have sleeping problems and I had a random roommate. However, I recommend dorming so much. I loved my dorm so much. I got a really good location and I loved my roommates, so it was awesome. And it's a time where every single person is a freshman. Everyone just moved here. Everyone's going through the same thing and you're so close to campus because all the dorms are like on campus spread around, so you're so close to everything. You're around so many freshmen and it's just a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so I would definitely recommend dorming. And then after that, I mean, some people live in a sorority house. I never did, but for apartments, I would recommend signing as soon as possible. And it kind of sucks because you have to figure out where you're living and who your roommates are. But if you want to live at a specific place with specific people, you want to sign like September or October of the year before. So I've lived in this apartment for 3 years. I love it so much and I'm really glad I never had to move. I have just been able to keep all my stuff in this apartment. But I had to sign for it like in September my freshman year. These are all apartments in walking distance, so I live in a very walkable place. That's something I love about FSU, is that it's very walkable, and it was very important to me to have an apartment that was walkable. So campus is right there. I walk to all my classes, and then College Town is right behind me where there's a bunch of restaurants and coffee shops and things like that, so I can walk everywhere. And a majority of my friends also live in apartments that are walkable, so I can walk 5-10 minutes and pass a bunch of my friends' apartments. So if you want to live on campus in a walkable area, which I recommend, you want to sign early. There are some farther apartments that are like a mile or 2 away from campus that probably don't fill up as quick if you want to drive, which I do have my car, but I just love the walkable city of this place and I really don't drive unless I'm like going to Target or home or something. Next thing I want to talk about is the weather here. So I'm from South Florida and I feel like the majority of people that do go to FSU are from more south than here. I've never experienced the cold like I have here, and you think, oh, Florida State University, it's in Florida, that means it's hot. No, 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 no. First of all, it snowed last year, if that tells you anything, which yes, that was like a once in a 50-year period, but it does get cold enough to snow regularly. It just doesn't snow. Like, it's in the 30s a decent amount of time in December and January, and I was not prepared for that at all, and I had no idea how to dress in the winter or do anything like that. So something I would recommend is sweat sets, because when I was freezing and I didn't want to leave the house and I felt so ugly and so cold and I didn't know what to do, what helps me feel put together is sweat set. For example, I have this garnet sweat set from Gap, really underrated by the way, like their sweatpants are so nice. This one is if it's a little warmer outside, but it's like shorts and a sweater sweat set. I have this blue sweat set. And then also, even when it's not cold, when it's like hotter outside, I feel like walking around in a set is still cute and makes you look put together. So you could also have some athletic sets for not the winter. But yeah, it gets cold. I mean, it's a nice change from Fort Lauderdale where it's literally 80 or 70 degrees the entire year. Like, I kind of do like the seasons, but at the same time it's a lot sometimes and I don't always want to leave my bed. But sweat sets have really helped me want to get out of the house. Something else that I want to talk about is I feel like I found the majority of my super genuine friends my junior year, and I feel like freshman year can be a little rocky. Like, for me it was super exciting half the time, and then like I was crying and having a mental breakdown the other half of the time, because it's such a big change, especially if you don't know people here and you moved far away from home and you're just like lost. And like when you first get here it can be so exciting and you feel like you're meeting all these people and having so much fun, but then for me I hit like a plateau in like October, November, and I was like, where am I? Who are these people? Where are my friends? Like, I don't even know who my friends are, and it was very up and down. But I feel like junior and senior year are honestly the best years, where it's like you've met so many people that you can truly know like who your true genuine friends are and who is just there to like get you somewhere because you just didn't have anyone, you know. I feel like people told me this, where they're like, oh, junior year is where you really find your people, and I was kind of like, how? Because I feel like freshman year is where everyone wants to like meet people and find friends and whatever. Like, how am I just gonna randomly find new people junior year? But it happened, and I'm so grateful, and those are my best friends, and it will happen. And a lot of those people I met during work week in my sorority, and a lot of them are younger than me. And then I also got new roommates, and those are my really good friends now, and I got a little who's one of my really good friends now, and all of this happened for me junior year. None of my years have been bad at all, but I just feel like, I don't know, junior year you like really find yourself and your people, and you know what's going on, and you feel really comfortable at this school, and it's awesome. And then you're a senior, and then you're just crying every day. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the must-haves for college, and me specifically at FSU. Something I never knew I needed was my precious iPad. I use my iPad every single day. I love it so much. If you don't have an iPad, I have an Apple Pencil, and then I have a paper screen protector, so that when I take my notes it's like sounds like paper, if that makes any sense. I don't know, but a lot of people have it, and I love it so much, and it makes note-taking so easy. I use the app GoodNotes to take all my notes. I have different folders for each one of my classes, and I just write them down on my iPad. And then I also love to play games on my iPad too. I like switch back and forth between taking notes and playing games. Okay, so here's all the notebooks I've used. I color code for whatever unit we're on, and you can highlight different things in different colors, and I just love it. That's how I take notes and study and everything like that. Next, I would recommend a good walking shoe. These are the ones I personally have. As I stated before, I walk everywhere, which I enjoy. However, you probably want a good walking shoe if you're gonna be walking everywhere. So these are the ones I have. My roommate has these with little polka dots on them, which are so cute. So yeah, I would invest in a walking shoe. And I basically switch off between those and Uggs, because when it's cold outside I also like to wear my Uggs, even though they're not very walkable, but I love my Uggs. The next thing I wanted to touch on is what there is to do here. So everyone knows FSU as a crazy party school. Like, I've had every single person that has come visit me is like, how do you do this every day? Like, this is so crazy, which I don't know if we've all adapted to it or what, but I really don't think it's that crazy. I think there is something to do every single night of the week, and if you want to do something every single night, you can, and you will never be bored. However, we all have a balance. We all do good in school. It's a pretty hard school to get into, you know. It's not 100% acceptance rate. It actually keeps getting lower and lower, and it's pretty hard to get into. So we all do a lot of work. We get all of our work done, and then if we want to go out, there are places to go out every single night of the week. And I've had so many people come here and say that our going out scene is so much fun and they wish they had it. So I know we're known for that. And yeah, there is something to do literally every single day of the week. There's different theme nights every single day, and there's different stuff for under 21 and over 21, but it's all super fun and there's a good mix of things to do. There's country bars, EDM bars, there's restaurants, there's crazy clubs, there's more chill sit down places, and something is open every day. So that's super fun, because outside of FSU, Tallahassee really doesn't have much going on, but I think that there's so much going on in FSU that like it doesn't really matter what's happening in Tallahassee, because there's just something to do here every single day. Okay, I also wanted to touch briefly on study abroad. I did study abroad after my sophomore year in the summer, and I highly recommend to study abroad if you can through your school, because I went with all FSU students and I made a whole friend group and we traveled around Europe together, and it was so much fun. And I can do an entire separate video on everything you need to know about study abroad, but that is a way that I also made friends coming into my junior year, because I studied abroad after my sophomore year, and it was so much fun. And I just think everyone should do it if you have the chance, because there will never be anything like it again. You can travel Europe with whoever, but you'll never be with a big group of students from your school all together in a place. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is just the community of FSU. Everyone loves it here, like literally everyone. Like everyone wears FSU merch. No one's embarrassed to say like, oh, I go to FSU. Like everyone loves it here so much, and everyone sobs their eyes out when they leave. Like leaving Tallahassee, Florida, it's like the worst thing to happen to people, and that'll soon be me, and I completely get it. And we just have a great community here. And for example, the snow day, everyone was best friends. Everyone came together, everyone was having a great time making snow angels and throwing snowballs at each other, and it was the cutest thing ever. And then we also did have a tragedy last year, and everyone just like loves each other and is a community, and we all support each other. And when we go through something hard, we all are together. And on game days and things like that, the school spirit is unmatched, and everyone just loves it here so much. So the environment is great, everyone's happy, it's a great time. And yeah, it's kind of like just like a little fantasy land. Like we all are in a bubble together. It's a super fun bubble. When we like leave for breaks, it's like so weird because we're out of this bubble. But I also love that about FSU, that everything is just right here. You can walk everywhere, everyone's together. Like we are just in a bubble, and it's a super fun bubble, and there's so much to do in this bubble, and there will never be anything like it again in my life. So that's everything I have to say about the best school ever. I recommend it times a million to everyone. I almost went to UCF. So happy I didn't, no offense. But yeah, if you have any other questions about anything, let me know. I would talk about my stats, but I think they're kind of outdated now because I applied in 2021, and I know it's gotten a lot harder since then. Not even a lot, but I will say like my stats were good. The only thing that was a little off was my SAT score wasn't crazy high, but I did have like straight A's. I had a few clubs and leadership positions and things like that. But yeah, if you can come here, I would so recommend. I love it here so much, and I hope this answered some people's questions.